I am in heaven. It is 50 degrees outside. It's cloudy, it's overcast, it's gloomy, and I finally feel alive. Summer is over. That's right, summer is over and it's November, which means I have 2 months worth of movies to tell you about. This video is what I watched in September and October. My room is just such a mess. Halloween, holidays, Christmas presents. I'm sitting in a pile of Christmas presents right now, actually. But I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to acknowledge it and move on. Okay, so most of the time I'm trying to watch new movies I haven't seen before. But during Halloween season, Zach and I did rewatch a lot of classics, you know, since it's Halloween. Okay, to kick off September, we watched Nightmare on Elm Street. I love the Freddy movies. I love Freddy. I'm a really big fan. So we wanted to get some Freddys in for Halloween. Next, I watched Madman, which is like an 80s slasher that I had never heard of before. It's a camp movie. I wouldn't call it good, but we had a fun time watching it and making fun of it, especially this like, was it a pool or a hot tub? There's like a pool or a hot tub scene that was just like really awkward and weird. I'm not mad I watched it, but it's not on my list of favorite slashers by any means. Okay, next I watched for the first time Manhattan Baby because I'm just trying to get more Fulci in my life. I liked it. It wasn't one of my favorites. It was a horror that just follows like a family that has a curse put on them. I kind of half watched it too, if we're being honest. But I did make a note that there's a lot of saxophone. Next, I watched Malignant because I never ever watch something like the day it comes out. I'm never one of those people that's like chasing the new stuff, obviously. So we sat down and watched that the night it was released. A lot of you guys were talking about how it's like partly inspired by giallo, and I guess I can see that, but I was not seeing that at the time. It was weird. It was fun to be a part of something new and current, like while it was happening. Like, I guess to be part of the group. Next, with my friend Sky, we watched 2 movies in one day. So we watched Hackle Lantern. She mentioned the title of it, and I was like, I want to watch that because that's an awesome title. It was interesting, okay? It was really unique. There were like themes of heavy metal mixed in there, like a lot of Satanism and farm. I love farms and stuff, and like scarecrows and corn. So we had some farm mixed in with Satan, mixed in with heavy metal. I liked the elements, but I just thought there wasn't quite enough hacking to live up to that awesome name. However, I keep thinking about the movie now, so I think I would probably revisit it at some point. Next is one of the favorite movies I watched during these 2 months, and that is Killer Workout, aka Aerobicide. It was amazing. It was perfect. I loved it. It's about a gym, like a health club, where people are getting murdered. It's an 80s movie, so we have like those awesome 80s workout outfits, and there's a lot of dancing and aerobics happening, and it's just so awesome. This makes it on my favorite 80s slashers list. Next, Zach and I did a rewatch, and we rewatched The Skeleton Key, and I love that movie, and I still love it to this day. It's hard for me to watch a little bit because I hate to see old people suffering. That's one part of the movie that's tough for me to watch, but I pulled through. I think it's a really great movie. I was thinking about it, I would recommend Skeleton Key for someone who's a horror beginner because it's really kind of, I guess it's PG-13, so it's really light on the scares and the violence. It's more of like a psychological, supernatural thing, so I love that movie. Next, okay, I won't be able to like give everybody's name that requested stuff to me, but Trembling Colors recommended Murder Rock. Which I talked about in my Fulci video like a couple of videos ago, but he recommended Murder Rock because apparently there's an unofficial trilogy of 80s workout horror movies. So Murder Rock is a Fulci movie, and it's a lot like Aerobicide in that there's a lot of like working out, dancing, fit people being murdered. Oh yeah, this was about dancers, and these people are training for like a dance competition or something serious. People who practice at this gym are getting murdered one by one with like a needle. It's like a long needle. I guess maybe it's an awl right in the heart. I liked the set of Murder Rock more so than Killer Workout because Murder Rock has like the flashing lights and colors, and that's what I really wanted from those like dance scenes. So Murder Rock delivered. The soundtrack is really weird, but it really grows on you, and then, like, I can't stop singing the songs from it. That was awesome. That was awesome. I guess I'm a fan of workout horror. Next, Zach and I watched Halloween, the original, of course. It's classic, and I do love it. Next is the final installment in that unofficial workout horror trilogy, and that is Death Spa. Death Spa is probably my favorite out of the three. That was a great movie. Oh my gosh, it had such weird moments. It had like ridiculous, beautiful people, and the gym itself was like very futuristic, high tech. Like the whole movie was so good. If you haven't seen it, don't watch a trailer. The trailer says nothing about the movie. The trailer does not make it look good. Just watch it. It's amazing. I haven't been saying anything about directors or years or anything like that. I don't know if that's something I want to incorporate, but I'm talking about so many movies here, you know? Next, we rewatched Hocus Pocus. Next, I rewatched Murder Obsession because I bought it on Blu-ray. Okay, Murder Obsession is on my favorite list of Jolly, and it still is staying there, okay? But during this rewatch, I realized how annoying the soundtrack is. It was almost unbearable. I guess because now I understand like the typical giallo soundtrack is amazing and has a very particular style. And Murder Obsession is just like pounding on a piano the whole time. Despite that, it's still a wonderful movie. Next, I watched Lamora, A Child's Tale of the Supernatural. Because it's basically lost. It's a lost movie. Like, it's really hard to get your hands on a decent copy. So I watched a really terrible upload onto YouTube. And usually I put up with terrible quality uploads just when I really want to see a movie. But this upload really interfered with my ability to take it in. Afterwards, I watched a really good review that was really just better than the movie. I guess it was good. I don't know. I couldn't really see it, couldn't really hear it. Next, Zach made me watch Interstellar because I've never seen it. It was good. It was not as like crazy as I thought it was going to be. Like I thought it was going to blow my mind and like, I don't know, just give me all these hard concepts to understand. But it's like, I'm not saying I'm so smart, but it's stuff I've already thought about on my podcasts and everything. So it wasn't very intense. Like it was kind of a slow and chill movie. Next, I rewatched Demonic Toys for 1992. I loved it. Some stranger in the movie store recommended it to me, so I bought it. And it's really good. I wanted it to be stupid, but it actually was kind of just good. The only thing I want to say about Demonic Toys is that we needed more screen time with the toys. Next, we rewatched Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Now that I'm like watching movies a bit more critically, I want to say I loved Part 2. 4.5 stars. Like, it's just awesome. Next, you all can finally sleep at night because I watched Tenebrae. This is one of the most beloved Argento Jolly from what I could see. And it's definitely one that like at first I was like, that was it? But the more you sit with it, let the imagery soak into your mind and everything, and the soundtrack and all of it, I just felt like it was kind of choppy. Like I didn't feel like there was continuity, that's not the right word, but it wasn't very fluid, it wasn't very cohesive. It just felt like scenes were just slapped together, if that makes any sense. So it's definitely something I need to revisit. Okay, now we're moving on to October, and I started off with Gangiom Haunted Asylum. It's a Korean found footage movie. And I watched it because Possessed by Horror on YouTube kept talking about how scary it was. Like, she was not wrong. It was very scary. Found footage movies, I guess a lot of times I'm watching movies like at work, and I find it hard to watch found footage at work because you have to be very immersed in it. Gangiom did not have a hard time keeping my attention, and those scary parts were quite scary. A little recreation of my reactions during the scary parts. Pretty much. Next, I watched a giallo, Tropic of Cancer. I've been wanting to watch it because I thought it might be tropical, and also it has Anita Strindberg in it. It was so good. I really loved it. It was really unique. It takes place in Haiti, and a lot of people on the reviews on Letterboxd were saying it's kind of like a giallo / Mondo. I can't really speak on that because I don't know if I've seen any Mondo films. I loved it. Oh, it also had Anthony Stephan in it. He's really starting to grow on me. I watched that alone on like a Friday night, and it just, I don't know, sometimes you just make really good memories when you watch a movie by yourself when you might otherwise be lonely, but then realize like that movie really just kept you company that night. And Tropic of Cancer did that for me. I loved the atypical setting for a giallo, and I just loved Anita Strindberg, and all the characters in that movie were just really interesting. Next, I rewatched The Little Vampire, which I always like to watch during Halloween. It's actually really good if you haven't seen it, okay? Next, I rewatched Casper Meets Wendy, which is another like must watch during Halloween. I can't say that it's good, but it's fun. Okay, next I watched Death Walks at Midnight. I loved that. Oh, and that was an All Alone on a Saturday Night movie. That too. That movie was great company. I like when I take a chance on a movie, like I devote my Saturday or Friday night to a movie, and then it just turns out to just be like a banger. So Death Walks at Midnight was definitely a banger. You guys have been talking about it for a while. I've seen Death on High Heels, and now I've seen Death Walks at Midnight. That made it into my favorite Jolly list. Oh, should I be telling you guys the plots? Like a plot summary? I don't know. Let me know. You can design these videos. Just tell me your opinions. Okay, next I watched I Still Know What You Did Last Summer because I had never seen it, and I loved it. I thought it was a very fitting sequel. Next, Zach and I watched I Will Always Know What You Did Last Summer. And we jokingly called it I'll Still Always Know What You Did Last Summer. It was terrible. It was like the ghost of Ben Willis comes to Colorado. Fisherman in Colorado. It's totally normal. Okay. Or is it zombie Ben Willis? I don't know. It was really bad. I gave it a 1.5 because Ben Easter, who was in a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, and he was my favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley boy, he was in there and he was actually really good. Next, I watched The Crimes of the Black Cat, and I watched that in preparation for my favorite Giallo Kills video. One of you guys recommended Crimes of the Black Cat, and I really liked it. Another Anthony Stephan. Yeah, that was a really fun, just like solid Giallo with some surprising violence. Next, rewatched Trick or Treat, which is just like a must-see during this time of year. Okay, next, since I had watched Gangiom, my friend recommended The Wailing, which is another Korean film. I can't believe I watched that because usually I don't like movies that are 2 to 3 hours. It was a lot. It was really good. It was very heavy. It had humor, it had drama, it had suspense, it had like everything. I just went through a whole range of emotions. It was a lot, but I liked it. I'm not mad at it. It was just heavy. Like, it's not something you can just throw on one night to chill out. Okay. Next, I watched Smile Before Death because one of you guys recommended it. I think it was Scott. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember everyone's, like, who recommended what. But they recommended Smile Before Death, particularly because of the soundtrack. Yeah. It was, like, kind of weird and a creepy, like, icky movie, but it wasn't too bad. I liked the twist at the end. It wasn't, like, the most, like, violent Giallo, but the soundtrack was awesome. I'll say it's awesome if you like a repetitive soundtrack. It was excessively repetitive and like overpowering, and just it was in my head all day, and it was in my head while I slept all night, and then in my head again the next day. But as someone who plays like RPGs, I like repetitive looping soundtracks. It's something that helps me make memories. So I appreciated that soundtrack. Next, we rewatched Scream. Okay, this is only the second time I've seen Scream. Again, now that I'm watching movies a bit more critically, I think Scream is just a perfect flick. I love it. It's genius. This is the best thing from Wes Craven that I have seen. Are we back? My camera turned off. Okay, next we watched A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, which was historically our favorite Freddy film. But like this time around, I just found myself kind of like, I feel like they wrapped it up too quick. Like the ending was just kind of abrupt and you were like, oh, it's over? Okay. I always say, I think Dream Warriors should be a mini-series. Like they need to elongate this. Next we watched The Grudge, which I haven't seen since high school, and I think it's a very strong movie. I think the scary parts are really scary. Next I watched You'll Die at Midnight, and this is a giallo I've been wanting to see for a while but haven't been able to find it. I think in terms of 80s giallo, this one was very good, very solid. When it was over, I realized it was kind of mild in terms of sleaze or violence, so this is probably a giallo that I would recommend for a beginner as well. Next I watched Bava's Kill Baby Kill. A bunch of you guys have mentioned it, but also my friend from college mentioned it. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. I loved the whole gothic setting and the story was really good. My camera's full so it keeps turning off. Anyway, it was really good, but I have a hard time with gothic horrors for some reason. Like, I don't want to call them dull, but the pace is so slow. It's not what I'm used to because I'm watching mostly jolly. And I think the title was a bit misleading. I was thinking like it would be like kill baby kill, and it was just kind of like kill baby kill. Next we watched Halloween Kills. It sucked so bad. When I was about 40 minutes in, I was like, this isn't gonna get good, is it? And we were just starting to like get bored and get antsy and just, I don't really want to elaborate. Enough people have already. It sucked. Next we watched Scream 2, which was also just super good. Like, I can't find anything wrong with it. Next, another giallo. So sweet, so dead. This was awesome. I loved it. This is making it onto my favorite jolly list. I really can't stop thinking about it. It was so visually stunning and okay, listen. So you remember when I was talking about Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion? I was saying it would be a sexier movie if it was like a bit more consensual, right? Also, the title Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion like made me think of a different kind of scenario. It made me think of a scenario like what we see in So Sweet, So Dead. It does involve ladies above suspicion and photos of them doing consensual things. That situation in this movie is kind of what I was expecting from Forbidden Photos. Basically, what the killer is doing is they are killing women who are having affairs, and then over their dead bodies just throwing photos of the women having their affair. Come on. It was so badass. Sorry the lighting keeps changing. It's because I have this, the sun's not out. It's clouds. Oh, and the time, I mean, the sun's setting sooner anyway. This is probably the last time I'll film in this situation again. Next, I saw Who Saw Her Die, and recommended by you guys, and also because it has Anita Strindberg in it. And I didn't really like it. I don't know. It was like a giallo about kids. Who wants that? Anyway, I wrote a pretty long review on that on my Letterboxd if you want to check it out. Next, Zach and I rewatched 13 Ghosts. I haven't seen it since 8th grade. If you saw my first horror movies video. And I was like, this is it. Let's watch it. And Zach hasn't seen it since like maybe freshman year of college. So it's been 20 years for me. And maybe like 15, or no, almost 20 for him. Oh my god, we're old. Okay. It sucked. I was like, who let this happen? As the reviews say, the only thing good about it is Matthew Lillard. He carried that whole movie on his back. Next, we rewatched Poltergeist, which I like to watch every year. And then we rewatched Terrifier. Is that hard for anyone else to say we rewatched? We rewatched. We rewatched Terrifier. It's a great movie. I would have liked a little bit more clown mannerisms, I guess. Anyway, sorry about my lighting. Oh my god. Okay, I've learned a lesson. We don't have summer sunshine just blasting in here anymore. Oh my gosh, I left a couple off. Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. I watched Eaten Alive. It's a Lindsay film starring Ivan Rasimov. I wanted to see Ivan in a cannibal movie. I don't know why. I don't know why I wanted to see that. And I watched the whole thing. It was awful. I mean, it was good, but it was awful. I've only seen Cannibal Holocaust, and I saw that in college, you know, when nothing bothers you or whatever. And Eaten Alive was very hard to watch. A lot of animal gore, a lot of cannibalism, and a lot of grape. I can't believe I watched it. I was kind of like disturbed for probably 24 hours afterwards, and I was telling Zach, I was like, I can't stop thinking about that movie I watched. I wish I didn't watch it. I'm okay now though. Ivan was great. He was a great cult leader. Okay, and then another one I watched was The Killer Must Kill Again. I was very excited because of the cast, a lot of familiar faces, and it was very unique. Started out really interesting, but unfortunately had terrible grape in it. It was totally gratuitous and just like drawn out. So that pissed me off and it ruined the movie for me. Okay, hopefully I didn't forget any other movies. So that's what I watched in September and October. Here are my favorites, okay? Here's the favorites that I saw. Killer Workout, Murder Rock, Death Spa, Tropic of Cancer, Death Walks at Midnight, and So Sweet, So Dead. It was a good time. Let me know what you've been watching this month or what your favorite thing is you watched this month. And I'm signing off now. Ciao for now.